Hello, I'm Andrew Dyer, and welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting the excellence of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. And as you can see, here is my co-host, former Sidwell Friends and Duke University star, Janae Hayes. Janae, welcome back.
Oh, glad to be back.
I'm glad you're back, too. And it's like I was just saying, it's like the last couple of weeks I've been saying neither of my co-hosts are here. Have been able to be here due to your schedules. I mean, you know, not like y'all have anything else to do.
Of course, who has a life?
High school varsity coaches, one
Kids,
basketball, volleyball, kids, all that stuff. You know, but both of you guys are here tonight.
Yes.
In different capacities and just showing the team spirit Nikki is willing to go from starting lineup. She's still starting on this side of the house. Now she's going to be starting over here. Instead of being a point guard, she's going to be the shooting guard tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Coach Jimmy Fly Hellman and Coach Butch McAdams joining us via telephone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roundball Report. Welcome back.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Now, guys, we're going to talk some high school basketball. I know you guys have been following it nonstop, but just in case you haven't, to set the tone, all right, Edward Strand and Kelsey Nelson had a chance to check up with the reigning state champion Potomac High School team and their coach to see what the program is doing this year. So check it out.
Hi, I'm live in Oxon Hill, Maryland, where the Potomac High School Wolverines are about to take on Friendly High School in what should be an epic showdown as the Maryland 2A state champions look to defend their title. I'm here with head coach Renard Johnson of Potomac High School Wolverines. What are the keys to winning today's game?
Being consistent, not turning the ball over, taking good shots, and not rushing our plays.
And what did you tell your players after your last game, December 5th, against Forestville Military Academy? What can they look forward to in this game, and what did they learn in that game to take into this game?
Great question. I just told them we watched the film, we saw our mistakes, and we just were in a rush all the time. I think it was first game jitters. They were out. It was a Friday night. They were excited, first game, and we made some mistakes, but we pulled it out at the end.
And what are you looking for in your top players of Anthony Smith and Walter Brody?
I'm looking for MVP years out of them. I think they should be competing against each other for the MVP in the county. Nothing less.
And people, after losing Deion Wiley, who's now a great star at Maryland, how have the rest of the players stepped up to his position, and where do you hope to see them stand?
Well, Deion was so unselfish, and he was a great teammate and great team player, hard to replace. But I think these guys are ready to step up for the challenge to replace some of the things that he did, such as scoring, playing good defense, you know, the whole game. So I think they won. They're happy for the opportunity.
And how big is it playing this game at home in front of your home team crowd?
Well, they're all big. I used to coach at Friendly, and so this is a really big game. We have both coaches used to be on my staff, and so, hey, Tuesday night, let's get it on.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Playing on their home court, Coach Renard Johnson's Potomac Hill Wolverines held on to another win in a strategic fashion, holding off Friendly High School after leading the whole game. This is a great winning streak after beating Forestville Military Academy on December 5th. For the Roundball Report, I'm reporter Kelsey Nelson. Now back to the studios.
Great job, Kelsey, and special thanks to Edward Strand, doing great things out there as well, and remaining with us in studio are Nikki Lewis, who knows a little bit about high school basketball, as well as Coach Jimmy Fly Hellman and Coach Butch McAdams joining us via telephone. And Nikki, you can speak about high school basketball. Let's talk about what your Capital Christian ladies have been doing, and where you're at in your program, and what you're offering to try to get recruits in.
Scholarships. I have those. Yes, that's what I'm offering. I am still recruiting, even though we're moving into our season. We play our 6th game on Wednesday. We have options out of D.C. But yes, I'm still recruiting. I still have scholarships for this year and scholarships for next year. I have some housing for the kids down in VA who would like to come up and play some great basketball.
Now, Butch, Butch can't knock the hustle, but when you were at Murray, did you ever use the S word, or did you say that we had financial aid?
Financial aid, baby.
Well, see, I have a leg up on you, Coach, because I have money. I have checks that we can write. I have real scholarships, full rides, whatever you need. You need a house? I got it.
Coach,
you need a ride to school? I will come and get you.
She's talking that universal language that a lot of parents in D.C. and all over the area have been waiting to hear.
Yes. I will come and pick you up and personally take you to school every morning. But we're doing good. We're in practice every day of the week now. We have a game on Wednesday. My 6'5" post, Evan Beasley, just got her first offer from the University of East Carolina. So we're excited about that. So we're just moving forward. You know, she's averaging 20-some points a game in the post and 13 rebounds and 6 blocks. So, you know, she's the face of the program. She's doing well. You know, she's one of those kids. She's 6'5", but she can play whistle to whistle. I don't think I ever sub her out. I can't. You know, I need her. And she understands that, you know, Coach Nikki needs you, and she just whistle to whistle kid.
Right. So, Coach, what did you do when Tony Dobbins used to try to ask for a sub?
Well, first of all, Tony learned very early as a sophomore that, you know, one of my young assistants said, Coach, Tony needs a blow. And I said, okay, I'll get him out in a minute. I turned with, if Tony were to turn to me and raise his hand, I'll turn my head. I won't see it.
That's
I know
true.
that well, Coach.
The
I
bus,
do the same
hey, look,
thing.
the bus never left without it. I got on the bus and I said, Tony. He said, Coach, I'm here. I told my assistants, we can leave now.
Don't I know that world?
Hey, Coach, quick story. I ran into a buddy of yours the other day, Adrian Dantley. You know he's reffing high school basketball
Oh, man,
now.
a good buddy of mine and one of my favorite players and one of the greatest players ever.
And, Coach, to check this out, now you always tell me you run into people all over the place that say they watch the Roundball report.
That's right.
I walked over. I was doing the varsity game because I do some officiating as well. And I went over to introduce myself to him. He says, hey, TV star, I watch your show every Friday. He said, I love it when you have Coach Butch McAdams on there.
Yeah, man.
I kid you not. That's what AD
no,
said.
I believe him, man. Adrian is, look, he is the epitome of what a basketball player or an athlete should be about in terms of his dedication, his work ethic, and just tremendous skill level. You know, I love him, one of the greatest players ever.
And we're efforting to try to have him on the show soon around his officiating schedule. But AD, of course, is a former Hall of Famer. And we talked about high school kids and, of course, collegiate kids are on the cusp of trying to get to the NBA level. And one team that's making strides in that area are the University of Maryland Terrapins, and Kelsey Nelson and Edward Strand had a chance to check out a Terp game recently, and they filed this report.
Hi, I'm live in College Park, Maryland, where the 8-1 Maryland Terrapins are taking on the 6-3 North Carolina Central Eagles. Maryland will have their hands full tonight as North Carolina Central seeks redemption after losing last year on New Year's Eve, 70-56. Slow start, the Maryland Terrapins held on to improve to 9-1, holding off the North Carolina Central Eagles. Jake Lehman had a huge game, helping the Terps to improve as they look forward to continue their quest as the number 19 Terps look to keep building and stay ranked. The Terps have continued to show that they can do well without Des Wells. I'm reporter Kelsey Nelson for the Roundball Report. Now back to you guys at the studio.
Great job again, Kelsey, and thanks to Edward Strand. And guys, on the college basketball scene, we talked about how this University of Maryland team, and quite frankly, coming into the season, we thought was going to be a make-or-break year for Mark Turgeon, and so far it's been make. They're ranked 19 in the country, led by Melo Trimble, and they've been doing it recently without their senior go-to guy, Des Wells.
Big shoes to fill with him out. I mean, they're winning now against, you know, lower level teams, but you're still winning and building that record. They're going to get ready to go into Big Ten competition. Hopefully, you know, by mid-January he'll be back, but they're going to need to, let's see how they do when they get against Big Ten teams, if they can hold their own, especially on the interior, because Des Wells gives them inside, outside, rebounding, and that veteran leadership.
And Coach McAdams, I mean, you've been in this area for a long time, and of course, Gary Williams, there were a lot of talent and a lot of AAU connections in here that Gary would not interact with. Mark Turgeon came into town and dipped from that water, and a lot of those guys have moved on. Now he's gotten a guy like a Melo Trimble in there and a fresh group of players that seem to be buying into his system, and it's always best when, just like you had a Tony Dobbins type kid, when your best player is a quality character guy and especially a point guard, a coach out on the floor, and he's doing great things so far as a freshman. Well,
it seems like they finally got it right in terms of getting, as you just stated, the players to buy into the system. I still have a wait-and-see attitude because they are beating up on lower-level teams, which they're supposed to do. But I want to see how they compete against the Ohio States and the Wisconsins and the Michigan States of the world.
Right. Go ahead.
Oh, when we're speaking about Big Ten schools, one team that in particular that's struggling, that Maryland might have a good chance again, is Michigan. What about the upsets that they've been suffering as of late? NJIT and
Eastern Michigan.
Mm-hmm. When you look at a team like a big Michigan that's always been a powerhouse, and you see a team like Maryland, that might be an opportunity for them to get a good introduction into the Big Ten, seeing as though you don't want to. Well, yes, you do. You do want to beat up on a team when they're down, just to get your momentum and to get a nice, fresh foothold in the Big Ten.
Well, remember, Michigan, they were in the championship game 2 years out. Last year made a run. 3 or 4 guys off of those squads are in the NBA.
They were all underclassmen.
So when you have NBA talent on your team and they go marching on to the NBA, you've got, to work with the people you have left. I think the guy Levert has stepped to the forefront, but nobody else has joined them in the fray. So they're going to have some tough sledding when they get into the Big Ten schedule.
No doubt.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to lose to some of the programs that they've lost.
No,
it's hard to explain a loss to NJIT.
I mean, come on. They are Michigan now.
Tell them, Nikki.
Really? Really? That's even on scholarship, you're still supposed to go hard and not lose those games.
To NJIT. But
Wow.
keeping it local, the Georgetown Hoyas, they're not playing the little sisters of the poor. They had a showing. They beat Florida. They had a tough battle against Wisconsin, lost to Butler, gave a good battle against Kansas, and he's giving his freshmen a run. They look like if they can keep the big fella eligible through the holidays, with Josh Smith,
right.
and with the freshmen, four top-notch freshmen they have, along with Devontae Smith-Rivera, looks like Coach Thompson is expanding his offensive flow from beyond the Princeton offense. That's part of his offense, not his only offense. It looks like they could really make some noise this year.
Well, they need a point guard, Coach, in my opinion. Smith-Rivera is a fine collegiate player, but by no means is he a point guard. They need a point guard, and you talked about the big guy now. I'm partial to those big post players. Keeping them eligible, yes, I think, but a more difficult task is to keep them in shape. Because sometimes it looks like he needs a limousine service to get him up and down the floor. But no, they're playing hard, they're competitive, but they lack the point guard and they lack that go-to guy. When they really need a basket, they don't have that go-to guy. And I think also, Coach Jimmy, I want you to comment on this, in that by playing Smith-Rivera at the point, to me, you weaken two positions because you put a natural shooter at the point, and then a natural shooter is not comfortable taking shots off the dribble versus coming off a screen.
And, Coach, we'll have Jimmy tag on that when we get on the other side. We're going to do a quick break, and on the other side, we'll let Jimmy speak on that. But first, we're going to have a special feature on the Wizards versus Utah Jazz, and we'll recap the week that was for the Wizards and the rest of the NBA with our panel of experts, Nikki Lewis, Jimmy Fly Hellman, and Butch McAdams, right after this.